Well, it wasn't quite Boxing Day 1963, but we had 17 goals yesterday, and none of the Saka replacements did anything. We hope you had a good Christmas, and with the game week coming up quickly, we're going to have a look at game week 19. Oh, and it's the last chance to get into our mini league. Right, guys, welcome back. This is the Above Average FPL podcast. My name's Adam, and as always, joined by Baker. Evening, mate. Evening, afternoon, morning, mate. How are you?
It's weird, isn't it?
So
It's weird.
autopilot.
Yeah, I know. Like, if anyone watching this feels like, I mean, especially with the acoustic guitars in the background, this is like above average unplugged. Do you know what I mean?
A
Like,
little
this is
bit.
it. We haven't got the fancy lighting on in the background. We're all nice and casual. Won't hurt your eyes, this one. Um, but yeah, Christmas is done. Um, Football is not done again. It's weird having a game week on Sunday, isn't it?
It's definitely weird because it stretches all the way to Wednesday. So I'm really not sure how we're going to manage that from how we're going to look at the game weeks. But yeah, definitely weird. And for me, obviously, I'm traveling up tomorrow, so I'm not going
Yeah,
to get to see much of the games, even the Spurs game, because I'm traveling all
yeah,
day, like 8 a.m. till 9 p.m. So it's going to be really tough to keep on top of what's going on. It will be a case of making sure my team's set, no stupid service station fuck ups this time round, and and then hope that my team does the points really, because I've been a bit sort of yo-yoing between reds and greens over the last few weeks. So yeah,
yeah.
hopefully it starts to stabilize a little bit, and yeah, we'll see whatever Tottenham does as well, I guess.
Who knows? So we've got 6 games on Sunday. Then we've got 3 games on Monday, and then Brentford Arsenal on Wednesday.
Yeah,
No games New Year's Eve.
that's it.
Yeah, that's a long week, isn't it?
Definitely feels it. And then obviously, yeah, we're straight into another game week, but then we've got. I mean, when is the FA Cup third round? I can't even remember now. Is it
We
midweek?
no, it's
Oh, it's game week
it's on the
21.
weekend.
Game week 21's midweek.
Game week 21's midweek.
Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it is a bit weird. But
yeah.
so with the deadline, which will be, so we're recording on, was it Saturday morning? So the deadline
It
will
is
be tomorrow
Saturday.
morning. This should go out about 3 o'clock. You'll already know that. So there'll be about, I don't know, about 16 hours before the deadline. So we have most of the information I think we need. We've got a few embargo press conferences stuff and
Mm,
that sort of stuff. Obviously, we've seen all the games. Thank you, Amazon Prime, for that. Last Amazon Prime as well, wasn't it?
Sunday. Yeah, potentially. So the weird thing is tomorrow being Sunday is so there's Leicester Man City's half 2,
Yeah, I saw this.
and then there are 4 games that kick off at 3. So there's half hour later. So we might get leaks for 10 teams
Yeah, that could be wild.
because it will be 2 hours before 10 teams kick off. Yeah. And an hour and a half before 2 teams kick off. So we might not just get leaks on Leicester Man City. We might be able to get some info around. So there's Palace, for example,
I was going to say, you look at these games traditionally, though, and you go, do I really care about the rest of them? Palace, Southampton, Everton, Forest, Fulham, Bournemouth. You're like, wouldn't normally be scrambling around for leaks for those guys. But,
it might not. But
Fulham's run's still good.
yeah, people obviously are very frustrated with João Pedro and the likes.
Mm,
So people might, if they know the starting striker is for Fulham, that's cheap, isn't it?
yeah. Yes.
So there is that, and it's only sort of 4 hours before Liverpool are away to West Ham, and as Liverpool are travelling, you never know, you might get a bit of information about Liverpool as well.
Yeah, we should.
Um,
There should be something because they'll travel today. So I'd
mm,
imagine there'll be murmurings around it. Obviously, well, we'll probably know if Diaz travels, for example.
yeah, I think everyone will travel. Like it sounds like so. Obviously, Diaz didn't play at all the other night, which was my good punt. We did well with our punts, by the way.
Fantastic.
And his dad. So the day before, his dad. The rumor was his dad had a heart attack. There's been since rumor his brother did a post on social media saying he's in good health. It was just observation. Um, Now we don't actually know I was hopeful that Slot might mention something as that might be the reason as to why he didn't play even a minute, but he didn't mention it.
Mm.
So it might have been to do with his dad, or it might have just been he weren't playing.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know yet. Maybe we don't know enough about Slot yet. I mean, you'd hope it's kind of just like that's a private matter, so I'm going to keep that private
Yeah,
matter as a private matter, and then we can, I don't think it would have benefited anyone for him to come out and say, I don't think
nah,
Luis was in the right headspace.
yeah.
I just don't think
The
there was
one thing
any
he
need
did
for that.
say, one thing he did say in his presence was that Lucho and Mo were brilliant against, carried us basically against Tottenham, and then Cody carried us, like, this week. So
Yeah,
he's basically just praising the fact
it's
that
not like they're
everyone's doing a
short.
good job.
Yeah, it's not like they're
No,
short of players doing good jobs right now, and that's evident in the league
yeah,
table.
yeah. Szoboszlai got fifth booking when he came on, so that means he won't miss that game. But Harvey Elliott's back as well, so he could potentially come in. Hasn't got minutes. Obviously, Jota can come in and play ahead of him. Diaz can come in and play that role. I'd be surprised if Darwin starts again um, for them. So, yeah, I don't know what I'll do if I get leaked that Diaz isn't starting. I think he'd have to just go straight away, don't you?
I think so. I think you have to. I think you have to move. Like there are players. Uh, it does happen. It does happen every season. I think it does happen every game week. But there's always. It feels like more often now that there's a player that's in the ether of the guys that we're looking at that will pop off for that week. So
Mm.
there is opportunity, even in sort of the immediate term as well.
The painful bit about doing it, the sort of, like I say, the grassy way of playing. Reason why it's a grassy way of playing is not necessarily the grassy player, but when the guys are not particularly minute safe type split, you're always going to end up. You're never going to save transfers, are you? If you bring players like Diaz in, because you're always going to be thinking, I might need to do something about this all the time.
Yeah.
So it doesn't help for that. But
I mean, like, who's your
just
bench? Who's your bench again? I mean, we can look at game week scores now, so we can see the bench. So let's have a look at that, and then we can
yeah,
talk through that sort of thing. So, if we look at game week scores, I'll let you go first this week, mate.
yeah. I mean, it's another good week really in the end. 73 points. Ryan and Gabriel both get 6 pointers. No more than that. No more than that. Always feels a bit when it's like, oh, we're Timber gets all the bonus and Saliba gets some bonus and Gabriel misses a sitter that you feel like you haven't quite got enough really. Um, it's interesting. I'm right with that. I always think like, oh, hate it. Hate him when he's getting six, but he's still got 6 points. It's good. Um, Good old Rico. Colwell almost got like an 18 pointer and is up to four. Um, Nothing from Bumo. Rogers comes in for Diaz, blanks, but 2 points isn't the world's worst thing in terms of him. Then you obviously got Palmer and Salah. And then Isak and Cunha up front. So Cunha the hero, really, for me. João Pedro, 2 points. That's what João Pedro does. I mean, João Pedro's lucky to get 2 points.
Mate, Cunha's lucky to be playing.
No, no, no. No,
João
no, no.
Pedro's lucky to get 2 points. Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about
As,
that.
as a Cunha, somehow on my timeline, it came up a little video of Cunha going around Brazilian favelas, handing out loads of presents and stuff like that. And I was like, God, I can't believe people speak bad of him. Look at him giving away stuff. He's such a nice guy.
Oh, I thought you were going to end. I thought you were going to end that with all they sort of just open these presents up, and they're all pairs of glasses, and that would be
That would have been
it.
hilarious.
Would have
But
been
no, no,
hilarious.
just handing things out. He'd hide a little truck. He was doing it,
Ah, okay.
giving it
Nice
out. I
guy.
was like, oh, what a guy.
What a nice guy.
What a guy. Whereas if you don't know him, he's a thug. He's the worst human the world's ever
Absolute criminal.
seen.
Uh,
Absolute criminal.
so yeah, 112k now. Just marching on another green arrow for you.
It's insane.
It's
It's the
just
most insane run I've had in playing FPL.
nice.
9 green arrows in a row. Like, that's never happened.
Yeah. Well, there's still room. There's still room. It can still keep going. And that was with a transfer that completely flopped in the sense that he didn't play.
Completely flopped. Mm.
Um,
But I do definitely feel this way. I continually think this way. When there's a lot of players that we're seeing that, playing this game that are doing really, really well. And mostly everything they do comes off.
yeah.
And there is that game, in this one where I do look at it and I do struggle to not make transfers because I think to myself, it's all coming off. Just keep trying things.
Just keep going.
Um, so we'll see if I do that again this week.
Cool. So, yep, I got 58 points. Red arrow, small one. My transfers did not come off. So I had Sanchez in goal. Obviously loses the late clean. Hall loses a bonus point at the end because Joe Linton scores.
Because
Bit
Joe Linton
frustrating.
scored it. Yeah, he just gone to 2 bonus as well, by the way.
Exactly. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that was a bit frustrating. Gabriel obviously misses the sitter. Trent, well, you know,
Dodges.
Rogers, fine, whatever. Madison doesn't start. Perfect. Couldn't
And then
believe
does
it.
everything he possibly could to get booked.
And then literally starts, and then just literally starts shouting at the ref and fouling people for about 5 minutes until he gets booked, and then does nothing for the rest of the game. I think it was a good Madison game as well. Actually, I think it was a game that he would have done well in to start with. But yeah, Palmer and Salah, the same as you. Isak, yeah, and João Pedro, and then Wissa. It was, I mean, they between them last night. I was just watching them miss chances. I was just like, fuck's sake. Just
Yeah, I mean,
over and
Joe Pedro
over.
was so when you've got the opposing nines and it plays out a 0-0 draw.
It's
Like I
horrific.
felt the same with Boomer and Joe Pedro. I was like, just any pen, just to get me a pen for either team. Just every time the ball went near the box, I was like, just fall over. Someone just fall over. Give me a bloody pen.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
but
so
yeah,
that's where I am, 58 points. Obviously, I've got Matoma on the bench, outscored Madison and Rogers. And Castagna, third on my bench again, rocking the 5-pointer. He can come in this week, though. He can come in this
what do
week.
we? I mean, our squad's really robust, really, isn't it? When you look at it, considering
I've got
like,
so much
obviously,
depth.
so much depth. Like if I look at my bench here and say Luis Diaz, Anthony Robinson, and Mikalenko on the bench, like, and you've got Castagna, Porro, and Matoma, it's even stronger, in terms of the guys that are there. It is interesting that we all could just chance our arm and play our bench guys each week. I still look at every week and I'm like, but what about the other guys? What about the other guys? I can't. There's a lot. And actually, I think that most of the guys that people are looking at are relatively low owned. So if you get them and they haul, you feel like it's big.
Yeah, I mean,
Thanks to Boona, Cunha, if he hauls against Tottenham, will be massively well owned.
that's, that was incredible. That was
For anyone who didn't know it,
oh
our
my
pal
God.
Boona starts a rumor, as he loves to troll it, creates an account called the FA Spokesman, announces that Cunha's got a 5-game ban, and everyone run with it. The Athletic run with it, Daily Mail run with it, everyone run with it.
Literally everyone. It was
What a man.
it was insane. That's the best one he's done by a mile.
Incredible.
By an absolute mile. I'm just trying to think. I'm just trying to see now how many. Has he deleted the? Does he deleted the post now? No, he hasn't.
Probably.
I don't think he has. But yeah, it's everywhere. So I'm just looking.
I'm
Metro
surprised people
Sport.
don't report it
Metro
as
Sport
well.
picked it up as well. It's just incredible. And then the live FPL obviously tweets out that there was a spike in transfers out. Yeah,
And he was quite close to a price drop.
933,000 people saw that tweet. Oh,
That's
Bruno,
incredible.
if it was the evening, mate, and I was holding a beer, I would raise my glass to you, mate. That was sensational.
That is
stuff.
incredible.
The FPL community got the world on strings. Thank you to everyone that's watching at the moment. Oh, well, not actually watching with us at the moment because we're not live because of internet issues. But thank you for everyone that has watched us so far, especially this year. And if you do enjoy the content that we do, make sure you drop a like on the video. If you want to see more from us, make sure you drop a subscribe. And if you're listening on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts from, please do drop us a review, drop us a comment, and let us know what you think. If you do want to join the Patreon, you can join it at patreon.com/above-average-FPL. And what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. We've got the Beat Baker December Never Say Die whiskey. What I'd recommend doing actually is waiting until January and starting the Beat Baker in January competition because Baker's absolutely smashing it in the mini league.
But I think you've got 2 games here. So if you live in the UK and you've got more than 372 points right now, if you join our Patreon League this month before the game week starts tomorrow, then there's only one person above me in our league currently that lives in the UK and is in our league. So if you've got more than that, you've got at least a 50% chance of winning a £80 bottle of whiskey. If you're not likely to beat me in that one, then you better wait until the 1st of January because Patreon charges first of each month. So if you buy it now, you're paying, and then you'll pay again next month. So it's better for you to you get the most value if you sign up to somebody's Patreon on the first of each month rather than sign up at the end of each month. So wait until what's that, Wednesday,
Yeah.
and join then.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, need to be in it before Sunday deadline if you want to be in the league for winning this month's competition.
Yeah. And just a final note that the mini league will close, the public mini league will close at the Game Week 19 deadline, as mentioned in the intro. The code for that is MGORK2. At the deadline, that code will change. So MGORK2 is the code. Get in. There's over 5,300 of you in there already. Thank you for being in there. But there's going to be nobody sneaking in Game Week 36, Game Week 37. They're not sneaking in to win it. And the guy that's in there at the moment that's winning, he's fourth in the world, but he's used all of his chips. So he's there for the chasing. So get involved. 5,300 of you. Be the top dog. You've got 19 weeks to win it, basically. And we will see you in there. So in terms of...
on that, I was going to say about Tom the World. So Chris Musson, one of our patrons.
Yes.
Right. Last season, he finished 19th in the world.
Okay.
And he didn't win his real life mates mini league.
Wow.
Of 10 people. Because one of his friends was 15th in the world. He's fantastic. He's not winning this year either. Because the same person that was 15th last season is OR1 right now.
Oh, right.
Imagine that. Your real life mates. Nah, can't beat you because my real life mates are winning. So
That's
Erin is the person.
Oh, yeah, I saw this.
Yeah, so Erin Robinson doesn't listen to the pod, so it's not in our pod league. Is OR1. But I followed because our friend Ivan pointed out to it, said, I think she was 15th last season.
Yeah.
And he messaged me. It was like, it's one of my real life mates. So I was 19th for the world last season. I didn't win our real life mates winning league. And then
I mean, I've literally
one.
got to be in the top 450k to be winning my work mini league by like 20 points.
Incredible.
Imagine that. Incredible. Right, which games did you want to look at? Because we can look at them all, but we haven't got time. So
we haven't got time, and we're not sure the internet's going to last that long.
This is true.
Well, let's put the fixtures up for this week, and then we can maybe branch off to look at them.
Sure.
Because I think the first bit is the team with the most expected goals this week is Man City at Leicester. So I guess, and then Liverpool are the second most. So obviously Liverpool played Leicester.
Yes.
And Man City, well, they're just interesting to talk about, full stop. So, you got any takes on Man City? Is it worth looking at their game first?
I mean, obviously they put just over 2xG up against Everton. Everton are pretty stalwart and defensively, but again, I think the midfield was just kind of weak. I never felt really confident that they were going to break Everton down that much. I think Haaland was a bit more involved, and I think he's just getting more frustrated. I feel like we're going to get a week where he's just going to literally explode. And this might be this is it. This is it. So you feel like this Leicester game now is the one where he could potentially just explode and everything kind of just works. But that midfield was just, I don't get it.
I was tapping up our friend Luke before the pod, before the deadline, because I was sort of unknown whether to start Rico Lewis, and I was looking at potentially Phil Foden. I'd ended up going Diaz, but I talked to him, beforehand, and then when we had the teams out, it was like, mate, he's like, that team is fire. Like that's exactly what we need. We need two wingers, create the space. We've got more big boys in the back with Akanji, Ake, and Vardy. If they're going to do it, they should do it with this team. And then the same thing still does happen. It's that the first break that goes against them, it's like, thanks very much. We just walk through and score. Like, nobody's cutting balls out. Like, that ball just rolls along past everybody. It's a great finish. It's a great finish by Ndiaye, but the simple fact is, ball shouldn't get to guys like that. And he takes a touch, then volleys it in.
Yeah.
Like, they're just... It's an issue. And the one thing is, it obviously with Savino and Doku, he wanted wingers. That's what he wanted. He wanted guys that could. The whole idea of what he wanted was he wanted one-on-one attackers, so, because that really helped him against all the low blocks they were facing. Because years and years and years of low blocks. The problem is these guys, they're really bad. Like the worst decision makers I've ever seen. Like Savino, like the decision making of Savino is genuinely, it's baffling. Like when he decides he's going to shoot versus when he's just going to run into it, when he's going to cross. Like as a striker, if you're Haaland, you're like, I don't know what he's going to do.
Yeah. So I don't know
I've
whether
got
to run
no
in, back
idea.
off, all this sort of stuff.
Nah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I mean, yeah, I mean, obviously he was the busier. He was the busier of the two, and he obviously made it very difficult for Mikalenko. Gives obviously draws the penalty as well. So
Mm.
Mikalenko was not having fun with him there. I mean, he definitely was causing him a problem.
Yeah, 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 he's hard work, isn't he? Because he is so chaotic. But
Yeah,
you just know when you think about when I was watching it, I was like, they miss Mahrez so much more than they missed any other player in that team. Like, because he had an element of chaos, but it was silky as chaos. Do you know what I mean? Is it still would you'd know he wouldn't miss an opportunity. He still does. Mahrez does all of the fun stuff with his head up. This guy's it's like head down, in and out. So
we've spoken about
Haaland
this in
doesn't
the
know.
past as well about how we've spoken about this in the past how Doku has been kind of head down and very much side. It feels like the wingers aren't really in tune with the rest of the midfield. Whereas when you have almost Grealish to an extent, but definitely when Mahrez was there, you felt like the players inside of them knew exactly where they were going to be, what they were going to do, and
Yeah,
you you kind of had that what we've been comparing recently. I guess that Odegaard Saka link up that
yes.
really worked, and that
It's
and
the
that enables you
opposite.
that enables you to break a line on the edge of the penalty box, right? And if you break
Yeah.
that penalty box line, you've got a huge chance being created.
And if he wants to make his run, he's like, right, good. But what we find is often with like dribbly wingers, because they got their head down and they're doing stuff, a lot of times their cross, it's either driven low or it's flicked in it. It's that stab to the back post with
Mm.
no pace in it whatsoever. And Haaland, he always gets the header Haaland with it because he's bigger and that is. But the idea of being able to attack it, well, he's one not in the right place to do it, and then he's almost like it's like he's backing up and then has to head it. So
Yeah, he's never
it's
quite got
never
the
really
power on it,
good. He's
and
not attacking the ball at all in those crosses. It's I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. That feels like it should be the team that just destroys them, but it's not. It's not. Foden, everything good I thought still again is Foden. Like how he gets a bonus with whilst getting booked and not returning.
yeah, yeah. I mean, normally, yeah, because I mean, the last few weeks, obviously, the bonus has been swept up by Everton defenders having kept clean
Yeah.
sheets. But when Haaland doesn't score, then it does have the opportunity to spread around a bit. Um, and
But it's
obviously,
zero point 0.1
Ndai
XG.
gets it.
That's the thing with Foden though. Like it's all good he creates 7 chances, but actually you do want Foden scoring. Like and Haaland needs somebody else shooting around him.
Yeah,
Um, so he had 2 block shots, but no shots on target, no shots off target,
yeah.
0.1 XG. I am tempted by if we got the league again and Foden starting, I'm still sneaky tempted.
Yeah. I mean, I think as well. I think Leicester are not going to put up as much of a sort of a defensive fight. I mean, you think Christensen and Vestergaard and these guys,
Mm.
even even James Justin at the weekend got run around quite a lot by Gakpo. So I
Well,
think.
Harry Winks will be marking him rather than
Oh no. Yeah. Oh dear.
Um,
Oh dear.
so, so the guy
I
would
might
make
cap him.
the guy. Do you know what? That's the other part of it. I was like, can I bring Foden in and cap him?
Yeah, maybe.
Um, it would be taking out Bumo if I was to do it. And
Which I
Bumo's got
don't.
Southampton away next. But you are like, yeah, he's got a couple of good home games, but I don't
Yeah.
know.
I mean, it's like Boom's got Arsenal, Liverpool, City in the next four. I know they're home. All three of those are home, but still, I still think he's a move out.
Yeah.
I still think he's a move out.
So that's my. If I was to make a fun move, Bumo to either Foden, Son,
I mean, yeah, Tottenham 2.45. I mean, no clean sheet chances, but yeah, good chance.
Or Gordon,
And
or
that's
Sar, or Eze? Or do you save some money?
just
Do
get
you get some
Murphy.
more money out of it? Get Murphy.
Go to Murphy. Iwobi's there. He's been a bit
What do you
off
think
the
about
last
investing in
three as well.
Palace?
Say that again.
What about investing in Palace? Because you've got obviously, I've got Bumo, you've got Matoma.
Yeah.
Palace are 1.95 against Southampton. Should I look at Palace's game? Got
Yeah,
Palace.
can do. Yeah, Palace. I mean, yeah, and Palace's fixtures are good. I mean, Palace I mean, doesn't really instill you with loads of confidence here, but Bournemouth are tough at home. There wasn't really much for. I mean, it's a bit weird because obviously Evan Nilsson doesn't start. Starts with and Iriola starts with NSU now. Changes
Yeah,
changes things a little bit. Just lose a touch of that pressing, but it didn't really seem to affect them. Like Watara had a ton of chances. Like Watara, he's not. Is he an option?
Dango.
Yeah, Dango. Is Dango an option? I mean, the
He's
fixtures are
playing
just a bit
minutes.
crap until like 25. But so from an entry point of view, but Dango, this is Hoyson Howson, sorry, getting top bonus 2 weeks in a row. By the way,
Yeah, yeah. I just had literally before we started this. Well, as it's guys, Sofo just messaged me to ask about bonus with Howson and is he nailed? And it obviously he's been getting extra bonus because he's getting shots, but that's good. That's no bad thing. Where he's quite lucky. So he's at a baseline's about 16 from his 700 minutes that he's played. So it's probably enough to say it's robust now. Um, Compared to like Zabanye and Kirkez are like 14. And then Adam Smith does nothing. Adam Smith's like 9. So
mm.
therefore, that's really good when you've got a 4 at the back and one of them's absolutely useless on bonus. And it's not like Adam Smith is making it up with attacking returns. It does make Howson really, really good as an option. But the fixtures start getting a bit worse again. It's like, would you just? He's just going to be on your bench all the time. But he is cheap. Um, for Palace, Will Hughes goes off injured. Wharton's obviously still out. Will Hughes has been making a lot tick.
Yeah,
Gahey's suspended, so Chris Richards will start ahead of him for the game against Southampton. Um, Maybe Eze drops in for where Will Hughes is. What Eze should do at least is Eze will take the corners that Will Hughes was taking. So set piece ticks up for Eze if Will Hughes is out. But Will Hughes has been really, really good.
yeah. I mean, surely Decore just goes in.
Yeah,
I think just
but
Decore just goes in.
it probably just gets injured again. That's the issue. Like
Yeah,
Decore just permanently feels like he can't do the minutes. Um, so is that a tick? Is it an uptick for Eze that he now gets all the set pieces back with Will Hughes off?
possibly.
Is it enough that you'd say Eze over Sar, or would you be Sar
I'd probably still pick Sar because Sar's like
cheaper?
because Sar's like he's the one getting beyond Mateta. And
Mm,
he's the one that's sort of driving into the box. You kind of maybe expecting Eze's returns from assists, right?
yeah.
And the stuff that you're going to get from Sarr is goals. And I had a look again. I don't know, it was this week or last week. I think it was this week. Maybe it was this Erin that I looked at this like world number one on optimized. And I was just looking at my comparison of my distribution of my points
Mm,
um, versus the world number one. Interestingly, I've had basically as many points from appearances. I've had more points from assists. My contribution percentage is more from assists and more from bonus. But in terms of goals and clean sheets, I'm so far behind the world number one. It is absolutely insane. And obviously it's clear because it's like 200 points, 250
yeah,
points. But it's
that is why they're world number one
but
as
it's
well, though,
it's all the
mate.
goals, right? It's all the goals stuff. It's the
Yeah,
stuff about the goals. So and
yeah,
yeah, we had a pod with Ivan, maybe Ivan or Danny, I think it was, and when it was, I think we were speaking with Ivan pre-season,
I
maybe
think it
like
was Ivan. We were talking about is it the goal scorer,
the
is the
season
assist, or
before, it was the
which one
goal
to go
scorer, the
for?
assister, and it's like, yeah, it's the goal scorer. I think I'd
Ivan's
want.
always the goal scorer, goal scorer, goal scorer. And I think you are right, albeit like Saar had comfortably the least expected goals out of Munoz, Saar, Eze, and Mateta,
Mm.
albeit they were all bad. So,
There's only half an xG between
because
them,
they,
between the
yeah,
whole
so
team.
So Mateta, you can't pay 7.5 million for Mateta. I just
No.
don't think you should, because you've always got to play him. You've got to start him every week then, and you're like, God, no, no, no. Not despite that's where the obvious easy ones to move out. The midfielders, it's like which midfielders would you go there with it? Because we don't necessarily need the money, do we?
No.
Like Munoz feels like the best pick, really, in terms of where he's playing and the going forward.
He literally went from you saying he does nothing to literally having like 4 shots a game.
He would, yeah. And now
He just switched overnight.
On
The first highlight yesterday of that game was a Munoz shot with his left foot on the edge of the box. Just there.
So he's the best pick.
Yeah.
Like, are you better to just keep whichever midfielder you've got, bench him, and transfer one of your defenders to Munoz, rather than bring in Suarez?
It depends who your defenders are. I mean, I've got Castagna and Porro.
None of us have got bad.
I like Castagna and Porro. You've got Mikolenko and who's your fourth?
Like, there is a world
Robinson.
where...
Like, you got Robinson on the bench, didn't you, last week? So it's not him.
I've got Robinson and Miko currently on... Well, we're 2 bench defenders last week. We've got home to Bournemouth and home to Forest.
Yeah.
So I want to get both of those in.
Yeah, exactly.
But to get those 2 in my team at the moment, I've got to take out Colwill away at Ipswich. That doesn't feel right.
No.
And if we get a leak that Rico's playing again, then do I have to just go Rico? Or to get off the Rico train and just go Rico to Munoz and forget Rico ever exists in life? But you know what's going to happen the second you forget Rico.
Mate, he only scores against Palace. It's fine.
Yeah.
You're not gonna lose much from a City clean. They're not owned. Not anymore.
Vardiol's still got plenty.
Yeah, but you don't own Vardiol anyway. What you just saying you're covering him. You're saying the
I
Rico's
do
the
think
Vardiol
Rico a
cover.
little bit. I do think it is.
Yeah.
And if Ake's out injured again, Rico will likely play the Vardiol role. Because Vardiol will go back to left centre back and he'll go left back.
Yeah, true.
It's so difficult. Rico is such a fucking curse. I hate him so much.
To be fair, I'm glad he's out of my team.
Yeah, I bet you are. Second he's out, yes, I ain't got to worry about that dickhead anymore.
Yeah, but but if I don't make any transfers, like 5-4-1 is a legitimate option for me this week. That's how stupid it is.
It is.
Right, let's have a look at.
So we'd go Sarr over Eze.
Yes.
Munoz, if you've got the space, just go him. He's
Agreed.
the pick. Mateta, I don't think I would go near.
Agreed. Yeah, I'm in full agreement there. Full agreement. Did you want to look at Newcastle quickly, just because obviously
let's do them quickly
because they beat up Villa here. They literally beat them up. I mean, I know there's obviously a caveat around the red card, which I think is, I mean, I think it's a bit of a nonsense, to be honest. I mean, my personal opinion is like he plants that left foot and then he goes off balance, and like his right foot, then I think you discount pretty much anything that happens with that right foot unless it kicks him in the face, which it doesn't. So,
but even then, you can see he like clearly tries to take it off.
Yeah, there's nothing in it.
What hasn't helped him is the kicking his shit on the fucking sideline after.
Well, I think that's that the drama afterwards is
like, oh, look at him. Yeah. Like and Anthony Taylor, got to protect Anthony Taylor. Got to always protect high performance. So that's the problem. I think it's a different ref, and I think he doesn't do the kick on the sideline. That gets quashed.
Yeah, probably.
And Newcastle could have helped it, to be fair as well. Like they've seen it all. They know the stuff. They could have easily said, "Look, I don't think you meant that." But
that's never happened in the history of football.
It's never happened.
That's never happened in the history of football. I mean, I can see. The thing is that like Emery's comment is probably. I mean, he was very clever. Emery's comments about what he said about it, because he wasn't there to call out the ref. He's just saying,
quite clever. He says, we're going to appeal it. So actually, by saying outright, we're going to appeal it, what you're basically saying is, I think it's a really good way of approaching it almost, isn't it?
But he also said it was about the ref, in that moment, not being able to make, not having to make that decision in the moment, because he can't be 100% sure of what's happened. He said, we weren't 100% sure. So he couldn't have been 100% sure.
Part of the rubbish of VAR, isn't it? It's part of the rubbish of VAR because if Anthony Taylor doesn't send him off, he won't be turned over. And if Anthony Taylor, so this is one of the commentary, or they say they should go and have a look at it, but they have to do a soft signal before they're allowed to go look at it. It's not like they
Yeah.
can go look at it then do. So it's the ruling part of it. So his signal is red, and then VAR's job is to overturn the red. And if the VAR doesn't see enough to overturn it, which they're never going to see,
No.
it's a red.
Yeah, yeah. I have no problems with that process in this instance. No problems. Anyway, yeah. I mean, what else? What else do you say about Newcastle here? I mean, it's difficult with the red card so early. Obviously, what we do know is Watkins is going to play, so that's guaranteed. So you're going to get 2 or 3 really good fixtures.
2 fixtures because the third
one of
one
them's
is
the FA Cup.
So you only get 2.
But you get
Brighton and Leicester.
You get the Leicester
home.
game, which is one that you could.
I have the money to go Joe Pedro to Watkins and then bench Bumo.
That's fun. That's fun because Brighton. I mean,
is that more fun than Bumo to Foden?
Well, I feel like. I mean, the thing is, Villa recently last 2 or 3 weeks haven't been.
They're not great. And then what?
Great.
Emery, the best way that Emery could defend Duran is put him straight back in the team. But what if Watkins starts? If Watkins scores,
but I think that's what he's. Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's tough on Duran because, but I feel like that's what Emery's been doing with Duran. Like you keep scoring, you keep playing, you keep scoring, you keep playing. And he probably said the same to Ollie. He's probably like, well,
he's going to have to say the same to Ollie, isn't he?
If he keeps scoring, he's got to keep playing because this is we just need goals for the team, right? So he scores, he plays. You come in, you score, you play. And I don't think that's the worst way to do it, but you know they'll have to manage once they get the Champions League back and stuff like that. But I don't mind it for a 3-week punt.
They haven't got to do, yeah. Well, even it's the 2-week punt, isn't it?
Yeah, but you wouldn't take Watkins out away at Everton.
No, you wouldn't.
But even then, I mean, like you just keep him for Arsenal, and then you've got West Ham, Wolves, and Ipswich after that.
The thing on the Everton though, as well, is so Everton. Where is the Everton game? So Saturday, 18th of January, they're away at Arsenal. So by that time, you kind of want him gone. Tuesday, 14th of January. So, yeah, what you would probably do if you were Emery is Tuesday after the FA Cup is the first game that Duran's back, and it's midweek, so it's perfect time to take for him to take Watkins out.
Yeah,
having had to play 3 games in a row. And then you play Watkins again away at Arsenal on the Saturday.
Yeah, and then you're back into Champions League after that, and then they're straight back into Champions League.
The problem with the Watkins is that I would be bringing him in for 2 weeks, and then I want rid of him, and there's no like for like guy unless you went Watkins back to Nico Jackson, because by then the ban's finished.
Oh, the new Game Week 19 stuff, the 4 yellow cards.
Yeah, so that's done by then. So you could go Watkins back to Nico Jackson in what we talk about 21, home for Bournemouth, and then home to Wolves.
Yeah, got a couple of good ones there. Yeah, I'm just looking around. There aren't actually any other real good ones unless you wanted to go with Mateta for a few weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, look, if Mateta scores this week and then he scores 2 next week, or if he scores 2 this week and 1 next week, like you're going to want him in 21. If you went Watkins, you just go, oh, cool, I can go to Jean-Philippe. Perfect.
I think it's cool as long as you're a scrambler. Like for me, it suits me because I'm a scrambler. I'll just keep making transfers, and if I have to do the hit, I think if you're a solid planner, I'm not sure it's the greatest move. Or if you've got loads of transfers in the bank already, and then you can afford to go off and come back on, because
we'll also know for a fact about the Game Week 24 double by then, I'm sure.
Yeah, but again, if that's 25, then we've got a little bit more time.
Yeah, it's true.
It's more likely 25.
Right, let's go back. Where else are we looking? I mean, I think Liverpool's quite straightforward.
We've got to talk captaincy. So is Palmer and Salah the 2?
I think Palmer and Salah are the 2. Yeah, I think they're the
over Isak is the 3rd, probably.
Yeah,
I would suggest.
Yeah, I don't think anybody else really sticks out. I think if you've got Haaland, he's an option.
Yeah.
I think he's definitely an option. But
Yes. Yeah.
outside of that, I don't think it's worth. I mean, like you could, depending on how you read the Spurs situation. I mean, you could go there if you wanted to go fully wild.
Yeah. It's difficult. Both the Villa one with Newcastle and also obviously the Wolves one against Man United. Obviously, Man United have Bruno sent off, and therefore it's like they look more solid. But are they more solid, or is it just that they've had a man sent off and they're playing Man United who have got their own issues to try and work through? Um, but
Yeah, I mean,
obviously,
nothing really happens in this game. Like
is
even in the
Cunha
second
the
half,
captaincy?
um,
You said it yourself. You just keep captaining guys against
just keep
Spurs.
captaining guys against Spurs might be the easy way to do it.
He can't
Yeah.
score corners every week, though, can he?
No, Son proved that already. I mean, the reason that I mean, look, low key, I've asked whether Spurs are an option because I know he's just come off a 0-pointer, but is Maddison an option in this game?
If you knew he starts, and probably will get something.
I've never heard anything come out of Spurs.
Well, George Ban said yesterday, and he's a good Spurs account. He knows his stuff. Is that Biss has been training as centre back
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
moment, so that would expect that Biss and Gray play centre backs because Dragassin's not, and Ben Davies had a setback, so we have no centre backs. And the feeling was that Dorrington would step in, the young lad, but it sounds like Bissouma. Now, just because Biss has been training at centre back, it might still be Dorrington, but it's free from Dorrington, Biss, and Gray at centre backs. It's problems.
I almost hope it is. I almost hope it is Dorrington, and Biss training at centre back is there as a is there to give him some, some guidance as to how to protect the back four.
He should almost just put him in front of the back four.
Yeah, just put him there. Just put him there.
But,
Run a back five, and then do everything from there.
but yeah, if Maddison is playing, which you'd think he would, having not played in midweek, you'd think Brennan steps out and in back steps, because you need a bit more coverage out wide. So Kulusevski's better because the one thing they do have is wing backs. So Johnson is useless against wing backs. So I do expect that Maddison comes back in the centre midfield. He does do the points.
He does do
It's
the
just
points.
difficult when they're good fixtures for Salah and they're good fixtures for Palmer. So Palmer obviously plays a promoted team away. And
I was going to say it's probably just to say it as simple as don't overthink it. Cap the guy against the promoted side.
But for West Ham, Fabianski's out.
Yeah.
Kilman is almost certainly out
Yeah.
by the sounds of things. Obviously injured, goes off. Sounded like they don't know, but out. Souček and Guido are both suspended. Both picked up their yellows. So they've lost both their defensive midfielders, which means what's his name? I want to say Alcaraz, but it's not that. That's not his name. What's the horrendous guy who's the slowest midfielder the world's ever seen? What's his name?
Might be Alcaraz.
Alvarez. Edson Alvarez. Edson Alvarez is going to start with Carlos Soler in centre midfield against Liverpool.
Soler's just going to leave him alone. Like Soler's just going to run off and just disappear up front.
So it's going to be Areola, Emerson, Mavropanos, Todibo, AWB. The defensive midfielder Guido's gone, so Alvarez will be in front of that. Then it'll be Soler. I don't know if they've got anyone else.
I mean, what the only thing I would really say, I
midfielders.
guess, it depends. Like, if Diaz does start, and if Jota does, if they both start, would they start them both? Or is because Gakpo's scored again, he probably starts again. But if he starts Jota
Gakpo
and
did
Diaz,
play
like,
90.
well, if he starts Jota and Diaz is bad because like I wouldn't want Diaz against AWB, right? I think you've got to sell Diaz. I think I'm just saying you've got to sell Diaz, mate. You've got to find a way out of Diaz.
I'm not selling someone away at West Ham. That's not happening. You can't sell him away at West Ham. You let him go bad, and then you work it out after.
Okay.
Because we've got enough on the bench, and even if he comes on for half hour against West Ham,
Yeah,
it's pretty happy with it. So, I mean, Aaron Cresswell came on when Guido went off. So what do they? They might even go free at the back with. They might even go free at the back. Cresswell to Debo and Mavropanos, and then Emerson left wing back. Probably do that. Emerson left wing back.
Wan-Bissaka right wing back.
Wan-Bissaka, or even Wan-Bissaka and Cresswell and Kufau, like to stick them all in, stick 5 or 6 defenders in and try and. But they are going to try and do whatever they can do in this. It's going to be stinky as hell.
Yeah.
Either way, Salah is on the good side because he's got either Cresswell or he's got Emerson or both. Either way, I can't take Salah on that. As good as ridiculous as Palmer is. So Chelsea, let's talk about Chelsea. Chelsea need a reaction because they've lost. But the very, very interesting thing I think for Chelsea is that Nani Madueke gets left out of the squad tactically. Very clear to say tactical decision. Doesn't make the squad. Naughty stepped.
Yeah.
It's a big problem, them not having Nani Madueke, because he takes Jackson off. The second they took Jackson off, it's 70 minutes of a guy that's leading the line, runs the channels brilliantly, is constantly an outlet, will always be there, will always push the opponents back. Marco Silva's absolutely done him at half time. I mean, even the selection, it's really clever for Marco Silva. So Chelsea, on paper, play a 4-2-3-1, but in possession, it's 3-box-3.
Yeah.
You know, Mackenzie talked to us really good about this. They play a 3-box-3. They just change potentially who does that, whether it's the right inverts, whether it's the left inverts, and who that does that. So what did Marco do? He set up from the lot off in 3-4-3. He said, "Oh, I'll play 3-4-3 too, mate. Then I'll just play the same formation." But he played a little bit wider with his guys than what they did. Played with proper wing backs as opposed to like wingers, which are covering both jobs. Did a good job at half time. Switched it a little bit, and then the second they took off Jackson, so the one guy that was pushing him back, it's like, well, we've got the same formation as you, but now we've got more momentum because you can't get out.
Yeah.
And now every time you lose the ball, you're all bunched up because you didn't get out. You didn't get into our half quickly. You got into our half slowly, which means all of your guys are now there. So when we now break on you, we can break really quickly. And Madueke is the only guy with the pace to do that now because realistically, their runners are Jackson, Mudryk, Madueke. Well, Mudryk is done. Like Neto's not that guy, and Nkunku's not that guy at all for him. And if he leaves Madueke, if Madueke is naughty stepped, I'm like, well, that's 20 minutes where teams can just push him back really, really quickly. And Robinson and Castagna were they just ripped him up, those two.
Yeah, I think what you are looking at, I think you're looking at the level of players as well, though, because if you look at the level of players that Fulham have on their offering, and you know, you're going to be talking about Cole Palmer up against Calvin Phillips, and I think that's going to be a bit of a bit of a mismatch. You know, I wouldn't. I mean, if Madueke comes in,
wrong with a Palmer pick.
If Madueke comes back in and is up against like Leif Davis, who's constantly, you know, marching on up the pitch as far as he can, and I don't think Ipswich did badly last night against Arsenal, but
the key thing I thought about Ipswich was that in injury time, Arsenal let Ipswich have the ball, and Ipswich didn't attack.
Yeah, I noticed that.
It was one of the weirdest things I've ever seen as they're playing the ball around. I'm like, you're 1-0 down. What are you doing? Like, you were like, they're going to lump it. They're going to lump it. No. Oh, that's the end. Blew the whistle. Okay, see you later. But the cameraman, for some reason, wasn't even looking at the pitch when they blew the whistle. He suddenly was like, oh no, it's gone. It's done. It was just so uneventful at the end. And maybe, like you say, maybe they just don't have the players to fight back against it. But yeah, I mean, Palmer's never a bad pick for captain, is he? If you want to push, you go Palmer. But I am struggling to go past Salah at the moment.
Let's look at our teams. Then. See exactly where we are. So this is me and my 5-4-1 formation. Because I don't like my Brighton and Brentford guys. Right now, I said it last week, and Brighton are going through this patch of just not creating enough. and with
They haven't
Welbeck
won in
out, they just
six.
they haven't. Yeah,
4 draws. I'm one of the, you called it last week when we did the pot. You said like they're not getting to 2 xG ever.
they're just not getting there.
And I watched that last night carefully, wanting something to happen in match, and you were like, not only are they
But
not
it's
creating it, they're kind of almost not being fun enough to let the others create it. It was just ugh.
But it is exactly as we as we see it with João Pedro in particular when he's being told to play the nine is he doesn't play the nine, he plays like an he plays
Yeah.
he plays the 8.5 type
They're
thing.
like four. They're like
He's
four
like
six naught. That's how they play.
yeah. It's like the two wingers are just like they're the forward men, but they're not really. I don't know, and as well in the last like 15 minutes of the game, you could just tell when they were trying to break fast, you could tell João Pedro was just blowing as well. He just couldn't be asked.
You see, he took the when he should have got sent off, which
He went and took some energy on.
We've said it was when took some energy on. The other thing about João Pedro, I know we're virtually all going to bench him this week, but it wouldn't surprise me if they just play Ruta where he played, because it's not like, oh, it's not a 9 for 9, but plays it's not being a 9 anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So I've got Sanchez in goal. I've got Hall, Gabriel, Trent, Castagna, and Porro. I think they're all fine to play. If there's any issues there. Rodgers, Palmer, Maddison, and Salah with a cap at the moment. Although that could switch to Maddison, it could switch to Palmer. It's probably going to be Palmer over Salah, and then Isak up top. My transfer, as I normally do, my transfer will probably come somewhere from on my bench. In which case, I'll probably remove a defender of some kind, and I guess it will probably have to be Porro just because of the weakness of the Spurs defense at the moment, more than anything. And I know it's
you would hold on. Let me just make sure, because we know Porro's going to play because Spence is not going to play.
Exactly. Yes.
So you're gonna bench Porro home to Wolves because we've got terrible defense, as opposed to Lewis Hall away at Man United.
Yeah, probably.
Because are they the two? Would Lewis Hall be above Castagna or below Castagna?
He would probably be Lewis will probably be above Castagna.
Oh, okay. So it's Castagna or Porro.
Yeah.
In your mind.
Yeah, I just think
I think that's fair. If you were saying me Castagna or Porro this week, yeah, I'll go Castagna.
Yeah, I mean Bournemouth just do a lot. Bournemouth just do a lot of pressing. They're a lot of cause a lot of problems for everyone. And they, we talk about Craven Cottage being a small pitch. The Vitality is a small pitch. It's like an even playing field for them. Obviously, Manu without Bruno, just assume they'll just create a little bit less. They might be a bit more robust, so it might cause Isak a few problems. But from an attack,
just on it. Lucas are on it.
Yeah, and they're just high on vibes at the moment as well. So yeah, it's probably like it's whoever out of the three I want to move on, and I could move on either of them. Like Mitoma or Wissa could be the problem with Wissa is obviously next week, so I probably want to just keep him for next week and then move him on. So it would be Mitoma that I'd move.
Yeah, Wissa away at Southampton's obviously a good pick.
Yeah. So that's where I am. I've got 0.9 in the bank. So Mitoma plus 0.9 is like 7.4, but I don't actually think I need to go up. I can probably come down to I could almost triple up on Newcastle, go Murphy, could get to Gordon. I think I can get to Gordon. Gordon's like...
You can get to Gordon.
Yeah, Gordon's fine.
For you.
Yeah, obviously like the Palace boys are all there. So there's options. There's options, and I probably will make that transfer.
We shouldn't forget on Gordon. I'm sure he'll be fine with this, but he obviously didn't start a game a couple weeks ago because of fatigue. And obviously he's played Boxing Day. He came off in 78 minutes. Obviously he was brilliant, scored an unbelievable goal. But I'm assuming he came off in 78 minutes with this in mind. But it wouldn't surprise me again if he came off in 78 minutes again, and then it's another game. They are managing.
11 v 10 game was done at 2-0. Really.
Yeah,
really. But yeah, that's me, mate. That's me.
But they've got Monday away at Man United, and then next Saturday they're away at Tottenham.
Yeah.
So I do expect they will try and manage Gordon minutes a little bit. For
yourself?
For me, so I think my one decision I'm trying to work out on my benching is João Pedro will be on my bench. I think I'm pretty clear with that one. And Fabianski will definitely be on my bench. So then we come to the defence. So Raya will play. Gabriel will definitely play. Anthony Robinson, home to Bournemouth, will definitely play.
Yep.
So my decision with the last defender is one defender from Rico Lewis, Levi Colwill, or Mikalenko. Mikalenko's got the home game against Forest. Um, Colwill and Lewis, I've got the promoted teams. Very hard to bench against promoted teams. Um,
I think I'd play Lewis out. No, I think I'd play Colwell out the three.
yeah,
Just because, just to get rid of Lewis, just to get rid
yeah,
of Lewis. I mean, I wouldn't play Mikalenko. I mean, like Forest don't create loads. They're not a hugely attacking team, but they do enough. I think is
they
what.
do enough. A good team.
And you know, Chris Wood came off. Chris Wood came off early against Spurs. Just wasn't really doing much, but
They're just a good team, aren't they?
just a good
And
team.
yeah, Alanga up against Mikalenko, you fancy that could be a pen. Anything can happen against that. So
Mhm.
Mikalenko will be on the bench. So it's probably then Colwill versus Rico. Leaks might help us out there. Work it out tomorrow. Got plenty of time with it. Colwill's been pretty good to me recently. Rico's never been good to me, so I probably should play Colwill. Um, Midfield is Bumo, Salakat, Diaz, Palmer, Rogers, Isak, and Cunha up top. So provided Cunha doesn't get a ban today, then it will be Cunha and
Mate,
we'll definitely play.
they're still at home for Christmas. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, you'd think so. If it wasn't done yesterday, you'd think so. But hey ho, by the time this is out, it might be there. So if we get any news on Diaz that's not looking good, then potentially, I definitely think if there's news not on Diaz, then Diaz would be the person I would move on. Um, if there's not, I can easily roll this team, work it out after. Um, but I am looking at Bumo. As I said, I know it is Southampton away next. I know it can hurt. He can hurt any game. On pens, he's a good player. But I noticed that Damsgaard was taking all the set pieces again yesterday. I was like, oh, okay. That was just one game. He decided to do some Bumo corners. Um, I'm really tempted with Phil Foden. I'm really tempted on Bumo to Phil Foden, and I'm really tempted on João Pedro to Watkins, which would then meaning bench Bumo. Um, one of those two. Obviously, I'm still going to have to deal with the Cunha issue very, very shortly. Like
Yeah.
it's going to happen shortly. So, bringing in players like Foden and Watkins who can easily be a transfer out, and having Diaz in my team who could easily be a transfer out, and having Cunha in that is definitely a transfer out. I'm not really increasing my robustness. I'm just chasing points and hoping that the points do enough to 12 points from Cunha obviously on the weekend. If I hit him out, well, I just treat it like it was an 8 pointer.
Yeah. 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 Disgraceful.
That's, that's, that's how I'm
Disgraceful.
seeing
This
it.
is why you
I'm
can, this
seeing
is
it
why you can
like
go to like Mateta, right? And you can go to I think maybe just get Chris Wood and just leave it there. I think you just go back to Chris Wood. Do go full
I could go
circle.
back to Chris Wood. I'm not doing it this week though.
Yeah. No, fair. Fair enough. Fair enough. Right, let's wrap up just with some quick questions, quick fire almost questions from the Discord chat. Because I'll do the questions and then you've got to tell a story. So best keeper with those with Flekiansky.
Blekiansky, that's
Love it.
incredible. I think first place people should look is Allison.
But Flekiansky's gonna be cheap, right? You're gonna have about 9 million. So you need to find
But
money elsewhere. I mean,
as a first
otherwise,
place, if you've got money sitting around, then my first point would be look at Allison. Can you do it? Have you got the spots? Is is that the player for you? If not, is Hendo?
Hendo, Pickford. Pickford also
Hendo
has a
or
double.
Pickford?
So the
Pickford does have a double.
Allison and Pickford, yeah,
Yeah, Pickford's right there.
yeah, Pickford's right there.
Pickford.
I do like Pickford. So with the exception of Isak, the forwards are struggling a bit. Is it time for Kakpo? I just think there's a minutes potential issue there.
He's good though, isn't he?
He's very good.
And he's greedy. Do you remember? I don't remember the pod that we talked about, but it was just before their Carabao final.
Are we still calling him
That
Hakpo then?
we call him Hackpo then.
Okay.
Yeah. No one calls him Hackpo anymore, do they?
Nope.
But we talked about the fact that almost as soon as Klopp announced that he was going, he stepped up a gear. He stepped up a gear. He suddenly looked greedier and greedier. Like he was like, "Yes, I've now know I've got to play for my place. I know I'm in it. I want to get the minutes. I want to get the Carabao final minutes. I want to be in it." And I've seen nothing but him do that ever since. Like whenever he plays like he wants to be the big boy. He wants to be in
He's
for the
back to his
points.
back to
So
almost his like prime PSV.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, all involvement of any
Yeah,
kind I can get involved, but I'm going to be in and around it. So, yeah, he probably is the pick.
yeah. Any thoughts on chip strategy, or do we leave that to the big boys?
Yeah, that's not me.
Fixture runs. Um, Fixture runs you see over the next. I mean, it says for the second half of the season. I mean, there's plenty going on. I think doubles are going to dictate most of it, but Liverpool now until like 34 is great. Um, Wolves will have a good run at some point because they have a bad run coming up.
Cities is obviously still there. It's right there in front of you. That like they still have got good fixtures. They
Yeah,
should be okay for it. I think, like I say, when you're looking at guys, I'm looking at players and thinking, well, how does that work with their fixture run, almost anything like that. Watkins, if Watkins somehow was playing, bar the sort of game in 22, they're all
yeah,
they all point to points.
yeah,
Like they really do if he plays. Chelsea's run is still good. It's still good.
yeah. And
Um,
Bournemouth from 25 looks fun.
yeah.
There are a few good
Well,
ones.
one we haven't dealt with a question. I don't know if it's on your list on those ones, but Jesus obviously and Havertz and last night. So obviously
Yeah,
Jesus comes off after 60 odd minutes. Um, Havertz scores the goal. Havertz plays all the minutes. If you were picking one today, we've got an extra week and you've got the money there. Would you go Havertz or would you go Jesus?
I'd probably go Havertz.
Because I could afford Havertz too to Pedro.
Okay,
What do you think about Havertz versus Watkins?
I prefer Watkins.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, he's secured 90 minutes. Watkins, guaranteed. Because next week Havertz could be the guy that comes off.
yeah,
Because they've got, if Jesus is playing up there, then in that 8-6-8,
yeah,
whatever you want to, that 8 spot, you've got Odegaard, you've got Rice, you've got Marino, you've got Trossard, you've got they
yeah,
all kind of just play there.
yeah. Agree.
Or they all can play there. So I'd probably just go Havertz over Jesus, and I'd probably go
Agree.
Watkins over the thing. Will Savio emerge as a good option from City? Uh,
No.
okay. Yeah, I mean, he was fun. He was fun, but they're just not linked up with the guys that are playing inside him. Is the Newcastle triple up too much? Hall, Gordon, Isak.
No, when they're on, they're on.
No, it's
When
good.
they're on.
It's good. I mean, they've got a couple of tough fixtures, 25, 27. If you can carry them through there, then you'll probably find a way not to play Hall anyway in those weeks. So I wouldn't worry too much because it's
Yep.
generally defenders you've got more of, and attacking fixtures. I mean, like the City game is not a tip. It might still be a good game for Gordon. Be a good game for Isak. Those guys can break quickly
Yeah.
and score good goals. So it might just be the Liverpool game that causes a problem. But they've got Southampton coming up. You say 3 of the next 4 games. No, that's not them. They've got Wolves and Bournemouth at home as well. So
Yeah.
good fixtures coming up. And I think that's everything, mate. And I do need to disappear. But
You do. Go get ready.
yeah.
Um, Pleasure.
Anything else?
No, we don't know exactly when we're pod next because obviously you'll go back up. We've got to travel. We've got weird game timings, but we'll work it out. Let you know.
Sounds good, man. Sounds good. Well, thank you to everyone that's watched again. If you do enjoy the content that we do, make sure you drop a like on the video. Let us know what you're going to do for Game Week 19. Get in the mini league. And
One last big thank you to Crypto Blockdown for this year. It's been an amazing year. We love you.
we'll leave it there. Cheers, guys.